What's up, engineers? Welcome back. I have a massive 2-for-1 grand slam for you today. OpenAI's 12 days of releases has kicked off with ChatGPT Pro and the new complete O1 model. I absolutely had to purchase the insane ChatGPT Pro subscription for $200 a month. I bought this because, of course, I'm addicted to being on the edge, and also so you don't have to take on the risk before you see what it can do. In this video, you'll find out if it's worth it. We've been preparing for the O1 launch for quite a while. The trick with these highly capable reasoning models like O1 and O1 Pro mode is knowing what to prompt to reveal and challenge its capabilities. And oh boy, do I have a challenge for O1 today. We're challenging the new O1 series with metaprompting, an advanced prompt engineering technique where you write a prompt that writes prompts for you. This technique unlocks asymmetric productivity for you in the generative AI age that we live in. We'll talk about why and how to best utilize this pattern in this video. Let's understand metaprompting with hands-on examples using the new O1 and O1 Pro mode, and let's see if it's worth your hard-earned cash. This is a metaprompt. At first glance, this just looks like a standard information-rich XML prompt with a huge set of instructions. You can see this prompt has about 3,000 tokens. So there's a lot going on here. There's a lot of information packed into this prompt. Let's run our metaprompt in a static way by replacing our user input variable here. We'll generate prompts using the new O1 model, and then we'll take those prompts and run it against both ChatGPT O1 and O1 Pro mode at the same time so we can compare the results side by side together. So let's start with some metaprompting. In our directory here, you can see we have 3 examples that we're going to work through and some images that we'll talk about in a second. Let's go ahead and start out by just generating 3 new prompts from our metaprompt. So what I'll do is I'll copy the metaprompt, just paste it in a brand new file here. And then let's start with our Hacker News perspective. So this is a simple user input where I'm basically walking through everything we want to pass into this prompt. I'm using a semi-structured input format. You can see we have purpose, instructions, sections, and variables. And all I'll do here is copy this, paste it into our metaprompt, and replace our user input. I'll then copy the entire metaprompt and go over to ChatGPT using the new O1 model. I'm just gonna paste this in and we're gonna let this rip. So we want O1 to generate a new prompt based on this metaprompt. And all the details for what the prompt will do is embedded in the user input here. So you can see it took 9 seconds for O1 to spit out this result. This is much faster over O1 preview. We can go ahead and just copy this. Let's create a new file here. We'll call this prompt HN perspectives. We're going to use this prompt to analyze Hacker News commentary. We have this new prompt here. This is pretty incredible. It's generated automatically for us thanks to our metaprompt in an XML-ish format. We've talked about XML format on the channel in the past. Long story short there is that XML is the best way to get high quality results out of your prompts. Feel free to pause the video and check out the details of this prompt, but it basically just took everything we asked for in our user input. It read the entire meta prompt that we have here. Tons of instructions here. We have an input format, and then of course several rich examples, and it generated a brand new prompt for us. So you can see here, you are an expert at analyzing and aggregating perspectives from a given Hacker News post. So great start, solid instructions here. Let's continue to our next prompt, bug analysis. This is a prompt that's going to analyze code and report bugs. So as you'll see, this is going to be a very useful prompt for reviewing code. Why have your coworker review your code when you can have AI review it first and save them and yourself a lot of time in the PR review process. So this is a powerful prompt. You can see here we actually have an example of what we want the examples in the prompt to look like. So we're giving the meta prompt some additional information here to create a great high quality prompt to solve the problem we're aiming to solve. In this case, we want to analyze and review code, fixes to be recommended. We wanted to look for critical bugs that would crash the program. And we also wanted to give us a ranking. So when you're writing the input to the meta prompt that defines the prompt you're looking for, you can just kind of write out, in natural language, what do you want the sections to look like? What are the variables? What are the sections? What do you want your examples to look like? Copy this, and we can replace the previous user input here. Copy this, and same deal. So I'm going to start a new chat here, paste this in, and run this once again on O1. We don't need O1 Pro mode yet. The real comparison will be in executing these large, intense prompts in O1 Pro mode. So let's go ahead and copy this out. You can see we have a great prompt written here. Let's go ahead and take a look at this. So this is prompt bug analysis. If we paste this in, we have 3 examples. So these were automatically generated examples thanks to our Metaprompt. You can see the format, it's giving us severity, the file, the description, and then something cool we added to the example. We want a Control F lookup to figure out where that issue is, and then it's going to give us a recommended fix. So this is, the importance of good prompt engineering. You're never going to get this format by just saying, find bugs in my code, right? By doing something like this, right? Find bugs in my code, and then you just place your code here, right? This is why prompt engineering is a very, very real skill. By specifying examples, by creating instructions, by defining a clear purpose, this prompt output is going to be very, very rich and useful, as you'll see in a second here. So this is great. We have a bug analysis prompt. Let's go ahead and generate one more prompt. Here's our last prompt here. And this is going to be let me actually create this, update this to XML here. And our last prompt here is going to be a script to blog. We're going to take the script from a previous YouTube video, and then we're going to pass in the topic or the title of that video. And it's going to generate a HTML, CSS only blog based on the script. Okay, so we're just going to copy this, follow that same process. We're going to replace our user input from our meta prompt. And I just have these all pre-typed out. I don't want to waste your time writing out these user inputs. So I'm just going to copy this. We're going to start a new session so that the chat history does not affect the meta prompt. And let's actually go ahead and use O1 Pro mode for this final meta prompt. I'm going to run that here, and we can do this side by side just for fun. So we'll do this side by side. You can see a big difference here. O1 Pro mode is taking some time to think right away, and you can see O1, the O1 base model, is already done. It's written this great instruction-rich prompt. It has the 2 variables I asked for. It has the lead in for the completion for the LLM that's going to run this prompt. This is quite fantastic, right? You're an expert web designer and writer who specializes in creating engaging human-like blog posts using only HTML and CSS, okay? So right away we can see, just by running our meta prompts, O1 is very, very powerful. I'm still kind of in shock that this ran for 4 seconds. And it was able to work through the meta prompt that quickly. So this is a task that GPT-4 level models typically have problems with. If you look at the meta prompt, it's kind of complex, especially when you get to the examples, because in the examples, we have input prompts and the expected outputs, which are themselves prompts, right? So you can imagine lower quality, even middle tier models have problems with the meta prompt. And we can see the new O1 did this task with no problem in 4 seconds. Okay, so let's go ahead and just use this. I'll say prompt script to blog.xml file. I'll paste this, and now we have a new prompt, right? This new generative AI mini program that takes in a script and a topic and will generate a HTML and CSS blog for us. We'll see how the outputs perform between O1 Pro mode and O1 in just a moment. But you can see here we have a very, very similar output from O1 Pro mode. For the use case of metaprompting, O1 and O1 Pro mode put out very similar results. You can see avoid overhype and keep it real, avoid sounding like an AI, aim for natural human-like voice. I actually prefer the O1 output here a little bit more for that specific instruction, but very, very similar outputs here. We're not going to worry about this. This is not really what we were aiming to compare. Let's go ahead and open up new sessions and start running our prompts that are meta prompts generated for us. Before we move on, let me just quick highlight again the value of metaprompting. Why is metaprompting so important? If you haven't noticed, the prompt is everything. Engineers, product builders, managers, anyone who can get their hands on a high quality prompt can do a lot more with a lot less. Prompts give you superhuman abilities thanks to the language models underneath them. As every engineer with their eyes actually open is noticing, software engineering has completely changed, right? Language models, prompting has completely changed the way software is written. This is just a single domain. There are many others actively being transformed by LLMs, prompts, and GenAI as a whole, right? There are many more to come, and they're all fueled by one thing, the prompt. In the age of generative AI, your ability to generate prompts is your ability to generate results. So the quality and the quantity of prompts, right? Highlighting here the metaprompt, the quality and quantity of prompts you can generate will determine how effective you are in the generative AI age. That's what metaprompting is all about. More prompts at higher qualities based on your metaprompt. You can start with the one we're experimenting with right here. I've been using this metaprompt here for about half a year now. 3K tokens, great, clear instructions, some solid examples. You can start with the metaprompt here. The link will be in the description. This is a very, very valuable resource and an important pattern I'm giving to you here. And it's going to become more important, especially when we embed our metaprompt into AI agents that can then automate the process of executing the metaprompt, which generates new prompts for us. Hint, hint, more on that coming in 2025. You can really hear the agentic, recursive, auto-looping nature of handing off this metaprompt to an AI agent, right? So smash the like, comment, subscribe, stay connected to this information, and be on the lookout for the weekly video every Monday. In 2025, everything we're doing here is going parabolic, especially as the technology of generative AI continues to evolve. So that's the importance of the metaprompt. Let's go ahead and run it. Let's make sure that, it's actually generating some great high quality prompts for us. I thought it would be interesting and cool to actually look at the Hacker News post on ChatGPT for this. We're going to paste in a block of JSON, which contains all the kind of comments and the commentary. We can go to the post here. So here's the, ChatGPT Pro Hacker News post and, a bunch of rich commentary. No AI summary will ever replace the learning and the growth you'll have when you actually just read everyone's thoughts and opinions. So, highly recommend you do that. We can go ahead, take this post ID and go to Algolia and paste that here. And, with this link, what you'll see is the entire Hacker News post broken down in this JSON format. So we can copy this. I'll create a new file. This is hnpost.json. Paste the results in here. We'll automatically format. You can see this is a 200K token JSON blob. That is too many tokens. I think that O1 and O1 Pro mode run with about a max of 128K tokens, which is still quite a lot. So let's go ahead and pare this down a little bit. We can open up the terminal and use JQ for this. So if I run JQ.children and then we pass in hnpost, you can see all the children getting printed out there, and you can see all the comments are going to be in this first children block. Okay, so this is all we need to get all the Hacker News comments. And if we hit up again and we do a length check on this, I think it's just pipe length. Yeah, so you can see we have 145 items. Let's pare this down to, we can do 50. So we'll get the first 50. And I want to output this to hnpost 50.json. Okay, and then we can just look at this new file. That's 100K tokens. This is going to be more manageable. So it's kind of wild to say 100K tokens is going to be more manageable, but it's true. That's how powerful these O1 models are. So we're going to copy this. I'll open up our prompt HN perspectives. I'll paste this in, and I'll actually copy this into a new file here. I'll revert this. And now we have our prompt HN perspectives prompt filled out. So if I go back to XML here, you can see we have user prompt with all of that JSON. And now we have a 100K token prompt. This is the moment of truth. We can open up ChatGPT Pro instances here. Let's make sure we're in fresh sessions, and let's see how both of these models perform. Okay, same prompt, both sides, O1 Pro mode, O1, and let's fire these off. So right away, first thing to notice is that these models are thinking a little bit, and you can see how long this scroll takes. This is a huge prompt. Right away, they're thinking, okay, O1 is outputting results already. This is very, very impressive. It thought for 1 second. Wow. Okay, so they really punched this model forward. O1 is very fast. I mean, that's non-reasoning models are slower than this. So very impressive. You can see on the left side, O1 Pro mode. If we open up the details, Actually doesn't have any details here for us yet. It's thinking, so that's fine, but you can see, it taking some time. This is the, typical UI for O1 Pro mode. You paste something in and then it takes some time to really think through. Meanwhile, we can work through our output on, okay, very nice. O1 Pro mode just wrapped up for us and it just spit out this massive result. So this is fantastic. It thought for 1 minute, you can see that here. Let's kind of walk through this, right? So main points, perspectives from the discussion. So we have price, value justification, debate over the 200-month price tag. Of course, that makes sense. Many users urge it's expensive compared to 20. Of course, it's basically a 10x jump. I think the big kicker here, which I completely agree with, some users find it absurd while others see it justified if it can give you the productivity rates or if you can basically pay it back by saving time from using it, right? The idea is that if it saves you multiple hours on time monthly, it's worth it. For others, it's simply too expensive, right? So totally understandable. You can see that same type of perspective here broken down in O1 Pro mode. Comparison to alternatives is a big topic here. And you can see both models kind of going down the line here. This all looks great. I do like the shorter, more concise bullet points from O1 Pro mode. But if we scroll down here and look for top 3 representative comments for each one of the perspectives, this was a great comment, right? If you save 4.5 hours in a Google Sheet, the $200 a month is cheap, right? I mean, that's paid itself off very, very quickly. So we have, if you don't have the use case for O1 reasoning models, which a lot of engineers and builders don't need the O1 model. And also my opinion here is that most engineers and product builders don't know how to use these powerful reasoning models. You really do need interesting, hard, complex problems to even get value out of these. Otherwise, 4.0 Gemini Sonnet is going to cover, most cases. But you can just kind of see here, we're getting very similar results. I'm leaning more toward O1 Pro here, but this is where things get kind of interesting, right? We have a breakdown of the table, right? So we have 5 different perspectives. We have sentiment, we have summaries. These are great. You can, stop, you can pause the video, read through these if you're interested. And then we have a nice flow chart here. So I actually want to copy out these flow charts. I did also ask for a flow chart at the ending here, which is kind of hilarious to ask for that. And let's just open this up and take a look at this flow chart. Okay, so this is really interesting. So users assess its value, price debates, 200 is too high, cheap alternatives, logical flow here, right? If you're using Claude, open source, just skip it. Quality is uncertain, still hallucinates. So I don't know about this. This model doesn't really hallucinate. Yeah, if it saves time, if you're a high earner, if you have complex use cases, then it's completely justified, right? So you have business justifications, recoup the losses. So this is a decent chart, right? This kind of breaks down, I think, the sentiment around ChatGPT Pro. So let's go ahead and look at as we're talking about it, let's go ahead and look at the results from ChatGPT Pro O1 Pro mode. So let's just paste this in and let's see this breakdown, right? So OpenAI introduces Pro at 200, worth it. So I like this flow better. Yes, high income pros, justify time saving, less time spent on complex tasks. Worth it? No. Individuals, too expensive, not enough value, stick with cheaper alternatives, makes sense. We have the open source block here, and then we have adoption and reliance, right? Addiction leads to potential higher price, skeptical, LLM hype question. So all makes sense. I love the breakdown from both of these models. Let's go ahead and close this up and move on to our next prompt. So far, how are you liking the output of O1 Pro mode and O1? As you can see, I think the difference is marginal based on these examples and based on this, one prompt we're running here, but you can already start to see some differences, right? Just a little bit of detail here, a little bit of extra kind of information. I like how it's breaking down the information a little bit more in O1 Pro mode. Let's run some more prompts and then we can make a better decision here. Let's go ahead and run script to blog. So this is pretty interesting. Let's close this, and let's focus in on our script to blogs. What I'll do here is I'll open up a script from our previous YouTube video. So this is from the QWQ local reasoning model video that we put out last week. And what I'll do is I'll paste that script in here so you can see this entire script right here. And then I'll paste in the video title. So we have our title in here as well. So we have a 4K token prompt, not too large, but there's not nearly as much information to work through as our Hacker News Perspectives prompt. Let's copy this, hop back over to ChatGPT Pro. Let's use new fresh windows so we don't contaminate And then let's just paste these prompts in, and let's see how O1 and O1 Pro mode generates a HTML, CSS only blog post based on the transcript from the last video we did on the channel. So right away, you can see the same deal happening. We do get a detail of the inner monologue. Okay, O1 is finished already. This model is insanely fast. This is one of the most advanced. Okay, so it's in progress. This model is just absolutely incredible. The speed here is really making me appreciate the intelligence it has even more. O1 preview would have taken probably about double the time to output this. But okay, so copy code. Let's go ahead and create a blog file here. So this is O1 QWQ blog post.html. We'll paste this in. And something important to note about this prompt here is that I also have image references. So you can see here inside the prompt, the Metaprompt picked up on this perfectly. It didn't change the file references at all. We have a couple of PNGs, which will link directly to this images directory, right, with some images. So, we do have images for this blog post. Let's see how O1 has done here in generating this. Let's go ahead and open up preview. Okay, sorry if my screen blinded you there. Interesting, right? So we have the title, we have the hook. That's something that we explicitly mentioned in the instructions. Start with a strong hook that captures the reader's attention. And we have a table of contents here. This is perfect. We did ask for that. Search for table of contents, right? Highlighting the 3 main points. Good. And then it kind of jumps into it, right? So this is really, really cool, right? This is a automatically generated blog post. Let me actually read this hook and see if I like this. So, ever wonder if local reasoning models can deliver the same nuance on-the-fly insights we've come to expect from big cloud-based systems? Good news. It just got a whole lot more interesting. Meet QWQ, Quinn with Questions, the model that's raising eyebrows in the world of local AI reasoning. This is really good. In this post, we'll explore a trick that makes QWQ instantly more useful: prompt chaining. Okay, so this is this is solid. Again, comment down below. Let me know what you think about this hook automatically generated by O1. It's pulling from the ideas of, my intro from the previous YouTube video, and I'll of course link this video in the description. Check it out. And then, this blog post will make quite a bit more sense, but this is right on topic. Anyone that's seen our last video, this is exactly what it's all about. The whole idea in that video is we want to make QWQ more useful with prompt chaining. So this is excellent. Table of contents, just like we asked, rise of the QWQ reasoning models, nicknamed it QDub in the intro. Here's the thumbnail for that video, breaking down prompt chaining. It's talking about the reasoner and the extractor. Just like we talked about in the video, you can use QWQ to generate the long thinking output with the chain of thought. And then you can use a Quinn 2.5 or now Llama 3.3 to extract the result, right, and simplify the output. You can also now use Ollama's structured outputs. So this just got released. Just wanted to quickly bring this up. Ollama now has support for structured outputs, more reliability and consistency in JSON mode. So just something to bring up quickly here. You can now use a model like QWQ that thinks, and you can extract the final result, right, with an extractor model that pulls out the example. So anyway, refocusing here on the O1 blog post output, we can see we have that prompt chain image placed really, really well. And, I actually meant to paste in the images inside of ChatGPT here. I completely just missed out on that. The O1 models now have image support, but it looks like very clearly O1 did not need to see these images to place them properly. So the last bit of our blog here, I do like these cards, right? A little bit of box shadow, image right in the center here, and simple kind of lightweight section. So this is O1. Let's go ahead and look at the output from O1 in Pro mode. So I'm going to just copy the output here, open up a new file. This is going to be O1 Pro mode blog post.html. We can paste this, and let's go into HTML preview mode. So crack open QWQ, ready for, so this is already better, right? It's not prefixing with hook. But let's open up O1's output. So it had this hook prefix, right? There's no reason to show that. So already O1 Pro mode understands the problem a little bit better than O1. So QWQ, also known as Quinn with Questions, is stirring excitement because it's not just another AI model. It's a reasoning powerhouse you can run right on your machine. Let's be honest, QWQ's raw output can be a bit messy. Don't worry, there's a brilliant solution. prompt chaining. In this post, we'll walk through how prompt chaining transforms QWQ into a super useful on-demand idea machine. Let's dive in. Okay, so pretty interesting. A little more exciting than I would like the language to be, but it's fine. We can tweak that very easily by updating the prompt. We have the table of contents. That's good. Problem with local reasoning models, I like this. So setting up a kind of intro, solution, example structure. We can see these images here. We get this nice centered caption, which I think is a nice addition here. Introduction to prompt chaining, a game changer, prompt chaining, clever technique. And it's really nailing exactly everything in that YouTube video. It's nailing every one of the ideas. You can use to generate rich, thought out answers, then use another model like a streamlined Quinn 2.5 model to neatly extract results. It's fantastic. How prompt training works in a nutshell. Great breakdown here. I do like that it, kind of created this little how-to in the center here. Putting it all together, you can see we have our O1 image there and powerful reasoning models. It threw our prompt engineering at the bottom here. This is really cool. Pro tip, start simple. This is pretty nice, right? Gave us a little pro tip item here. Why wait for tomorrow's models or next week's new code releases? With prompt training, you can harness QWQ's reasoning capabilities today and keep a tidy, usable final result every time. So this is fantastic. To me, the language of O1 Pro mode is a lot more human, maybe minus this intro. The intro is kind of annoying to me, but that's fine. You might like intros like this. Nothing wrong with it. I will say I did like the format, like the visual format of the base O1 model a little bit better, but I think that content-wise, O1 Pro mode is a bit better here, right? These how-tos and this tip here and the image captions, I think provides quite a bit more value than the O1 base output blog. But again, comment down below. Let me know what you think. Do you see one model beating the other out, or is it just close enough? I feel like it is kind of hard to tell. And these results could just be about the non-deterministic nature of LLMs as a whole, right? To me, a consistent theme here, O1 Pro mode is giving me just a little edge. Is it worth $200 a month? Well, that really just depends on the volume of reasoning that I need solved over the course of a month, right? I think that's the big kind of delineation with the decision of whether ChatGPT Pro is actually worth it. So we have one more prompt to run. Let's go ahead and fire that off. Open up our bug analysis. And so this is a really interesting one. Our bug analysis here, ignore the syntax here. That just looks like we clipped image a little bit there. All we need to do here is paste in some code. So I have this previous code base, Benchy, from our live benchmarking repository. And what I'll do here is I have this kind of pre-command loaded here. I'll be sharing more on this tool in 2025. But what I can do here is basically pull together context files. So if I run allo1 gather files, we can just see this command here. Basically all I'm doing here is I'm pulling all the view files in the source directory, TypeScript files, and every Python file in the server. Okay, so this is a simple client server application. I'll also link the live benchmarking videos in the description if you're interested in checking out this code base and some of the cool live benchmarks we've done on the channel. So I'll copy this, and this is gonna be really cool. So I'll close this. And now if I print this, right, if I paste this, you can see if I run source, or if I just search for source here, you can see every file from this code base, right? So this is really cool. So we have every Python file, we have every TypeScript and every Vue.js file that we need. And this is great, right? So basically we have a bunch of code. You can see we have 20K token code base. So I'm just gonna take this, paste it in our user prompt. Now our expert code analysis prompt is going to run an analysis on that code. So as usual, we'll copy this. We'll start fresh sessions, and then I'll just paste in both sides, and let's see how O1 and O1 Pro mode reviews our code for us. So I'll paste this in both sides. A decent sized prompt there. This is a 20K token prompt. And let's go ahead and scroll to the bottom here. Let's see what O1 Pro mode is doing. You can see it working through. Nice. We have a decent chain of details here. I have noticed that after a while, O1 Pro mode sometimes just stops outputting its details to you and just kind of keeps it to itself after a while. But this is nice to see. Examining code, managing async bugs. It found a couple of async bugs there after 32 seconds. So this is a more complex thing to work through. O1 thinking for about 32 seconds. and it found a decent chunk of issues for us, right? So let's go ahead and just copy this out. Everything's always easier to read in your own text editor. So we can see here for O1 base, a decent slew of responses from our bug analysis prompt. We have a potential crash if message.content is empty from our Anthropic LLM model. Yep, that's super solid. Everyone just kind of assumes that this will always exist. That was my bad to not, place an if there. So we have our is loading resetting prematurely due to an unawaited async loop. Okay, so this is actually kind of interesting. Let me actually just pull this up. Thankfully, we have this nice control F that we can use. And let's just go ahead and quick look for that. What file was that? So it's in both of these files. So this is great, right? Thanks to our metaprompt and our prompt, it actually respected this output format. We want to see every file and every instance of this issue, and it found it in both of these files. If we search for each async, which it gave us here with a control F lookup, we can see both of these issues here, right? So we have this for each async loop, and yeah, okay, that's a bug. That's a bug. You can see here, we're not ever awaiting the results here. And that means that is loading will arbitrarily just fire off. So it found it there, and it also found it. I assume I just kind of blazed through this. And so it also found it here, probably just copy and pasted it via an AI coding prompt. So you can see here, we're actually getting some concrete value out of this prompt that was generated by our metaprompt that we then pass back into O1. You can see here we have some smaller, lower quality, lower tier issues here, lower severity. Fantastic, right? Let's hop back over to O1 Pro mode and let's work through everything that it gave us here. You can see here we have quite a bit more information. This took 1 minute 34 seconds, so this took about 3 times longer to run. Let's just copy out everything here. And let's look at the O1 Pro mode. So we do have some JS here. Let me just go ahead and do this. We can see O1 Pro mode picked up on that same message content issue, picked up on the same for each async. But so this is another issue that was caught here. It looks like an additional issue on an empty array when calculating. Okay, recommended fix. You want to check to see if the array is empty before calling math.min. Makes sense. This is kind of nice. It gave us more example code on how to fix the issue exactly. If we look at our bug analysis prompt here, that is kind of what we were looking for here, right? We didn't explicitly say in our examples, show code as well, but O1 Pro mode went ahead and generated output code for us. The theme here of O1 Pro mode being just a little bit, giving you a slight edge here, I think is continuing. It's giving us some nice code breakdown, a couple other issues there. Fantastic. We don't need to, dig too much into this. In terms of which model is better and if you need ChatGPT Pro, to me, the answer is very clear. If you are a kind of super pro user of compute, reasoning models, large language models like myself, then O1 Pro mode is kind of a no-brainer must-have. This puts you closer to the edge of what's possible, even if it's just marginal gains, right? An important thing to call out here as well, OpenAI did explicitly mention that they're going to be adding more powerful compute-intensive productivity features to this plan. The first version of something is always a little rougher on the edges. It always kind of seems like, it's good, but is the value really there? They will be adding more to this, right? So that's something important to highlight. The question of whether you should really buy ChatGPT Pro is really, how far are you really pushing compute, and do you understand what it can do for you? This is something that I try to aim to reveal and aid other engineers like yourself with, is really trying to push what you can do with compute, with LLMs, with prompts. There's so much value, so much untapped value here with all these incredible releases coming out from OpenAI. The question is, can you tap into it? Do you know how to write high quality prompts? Do you know how to use advanced techniques like prompt chaining and metaprompts? Do you know which model do you need to do the job? Are you constantly pushing your capabilities? Are you constantly asking, okay, I know how I would do this, but can I pass off to an LLM? What's the prompt look like? What if I built it into an AI agent? What if I made this part of my collection of prompts and tools and accessed it all through a single unified personal AI assistant? right? What if I made this entirely agentic? What if this worked on its own by itself without my intervention? These are all ideas we discuss on the channel quite a bit. This is where we're headed on the channel. It's all about building up these larger pieces of compute and of prompts, right? The prompt is the fundamental unit of knowledge work, right? This is kind of our theme tagline for the Indie Dev Dan channel and for the generative AI age as a whole. The prompt is everything. In this video, we've discussed the Metaprompt. We've compared, two new innovations from OpenAI, the full O1 model, O1 Pro mode. It's all building up. It's all stacking on top of each other. The only question is, can you use the compute? Video after video, we focus on how can we best use this compute. I have a ton of exciting content focusing on that key idea. The Metaprompt is a really, really key concept because it allows your AI agents to write prompts for you based on specific scenarios, right? So this is a really big advanced idea. I wanted to share that with you here on the channel. I think ChatGPT O1 Pro mode is definitely worth it if you're really pushing what you can do with generative AI. I think for probably 95% of engineers, product builders, O1 will suffice for most of your cases. There will be some gains that will be left on the table by not having O1 Pro mode. And I think that's okay, as long as you understand the trade-off, right? The way I measure it, O1 Pro mode is anywhere from 0 to about 20% better on a prompt by prompt basis. That's my understanding of Pro mode thus far after just 3 days of using it. So we'll see where this goes. I'll be, of course, reporting on all of the releases from OpenAI over this week and the next week. I'm super, super excited about every release that they have coming. It's an incredible time to be an engineer and to be plugged into the generative AI space like we are here on the channel. If you're not, and you made it to the end, definitely subscribe. I'm super stoked to share new AI coding patterns based on these powerful reasoning models. I'm sure we're gonna get O1 through the API really soon here. Exciting news, I am nearly complete with the AI coding course I've been building for engineers like you and viewers of the channel. I can't wait to share this with you. We do have to wait for all the innovation coming out of OpenAI to complete before I can ship this. So, maybe on the 13th day, I'll be able to launch this foundational AI coding course, but we'll see what OpenAI releases. I have to make sure that I incorporate all the latest and greatest technologies and, more importantly, ideas and patterns that may come out of their release. So I have to wait for them to, finish shipping everything, finish reshaping the industry, and then I can fully launch the AI coding course. Stay tuned for that. We'll have more AI coding coming on the channel. That's it. Long one. I hope you enjoyed this one. If you made it to the end, drop the like, drop the sub. This is an incredible time we're living in. It's a great time to be an engineer and a builder. Stay focused, keep building, and I'll see you next week.